Week 1 of the fantasy football season, and here's a few defense DST units I would start this week. The first one, the Denver Broncos. So the Broncos, most likely, they were the first defense off the board in most fantasy drafts, where they're loaded, obviously, led by Patrick Surtain in the secondary. Great pass rush, and this week a great matchup to start the season with the Tennessee Titans coming to town. I know they got Cam Ward at quarterback. I think he'll be a decent pro, but obviously his first career game, it's going to be tough for him to go into the altitude in Denver, and one of the best defense. Got Calvin Ridley, Tony Pollard, so they got some pieces on that offense. But this Bronco team, we know they're relentless. They get to the quarterback, they hold teams in the mid-teens, low 20s, and like I said, in this one, I think they're going to get Cam Ward early and often. I know Wardy's a little elusive. He can move out of the pocket and make some plays, but it's going to be a tough day for the rookie in this one. And Denver, I think they have their way in this game. It wouldn't be surprising if they hold the Titans to 10, 13-point range, and they get 4 or 5 sacks and maybe a couple turnovers in this one. Next DST is the Arizona Cardinals. So this week, their great streaming option is Arizona. As a whole, I don't like their defense, obviously, entering the season, especially in a division with high-powered offenses over there in the NFC West with the San Francisco 49ers, Los Angeles Rams, and Seattle has some playmakers, obviously. But this week, a slam dunk matchup at the New Orleans Saints. So like I said, it's a one-time streaming option this week. I like the Cardinals a lot. The Saints, they might be one of the worst offenses in the league this season. I know on paper they got some playmakers, no doubt, Alvin Kamara, but he's up there in age now at the running back position, 30 years old. Chris Olave, he's been a good pro, but injuries have been a problem for him over the last few seasons. Rashid Shaheed, but the problem, Spencer Rattler is the starting quarterback going into the season. And Rattler, we know he was a turnover machine in the few opportunities he got last season. He took a lot of big hits, and he looks like he's a run-first quarterback for the most part. And obviously that spells a disaster more times than not if you're not staying in the pocket making your reads and you're just looking to take off. So I think Arizona on the fast track as a streaming option is a good start this week. The next DST is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers, one of the top defenses taken off the board in fantasy drafts. And this week here, they versed their former quarterback last season, Justin Fields, who started half the season for them. So Fields, we know he's a run-first quarterback as well. He's improved in the pocket a little bit over the last couple seasons. So it's going to be a revenge game a little bit for both teams. But as a whole, this New York Jet offense doesn't have much going on besides Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. So if they could limit Garrett Wilson in this one with Jalen Ramsey on him, I assume majority of this game. And obviously, Breece Hall just slowed the box a little bit and forced Fields to be a pocket thrower. It could be tough for Fields in this game. And like I said, when you got a pass rusher who's arguably the best pass rusher, either Watt or Myles Garrett, it's close. It's going to be a tough game, and this Jet offensive line isn't that great as well. And we know the Steelers defense as well is a grinded-out unit where they hold teams to low scoring. So this could be a low-scoring game on both sides. Next DST staying in the same game is the New York Jets. This Steelers offense, they brought in Aaron Rodgers, and you know this Jet defense, they want to get to Rodgers. And you know Rodgers, he wants to stick it to his old team as well in this one. Once Aaron Glenn came in, he didn't care for Rodgers and let him go like it was nothing. So this New York Jet defense over the seasons, they've gotten to the quarterback, no doubt about it, but they don't create turnovers. But this week here, we'll see how it goes. The main matchup for me is if DK Metcalf is going to get open on Sauce Gardner, because if Sauce Gardner hold DK Metcalf down for the most part, I think it's going to be tough sledding for this offense in Pittsburgh, where I don't think they got many options. I know they brought in Jonnu Smith, but the number 2 receiver, it's Roman Wilson or Calvin Austin, and those guys haven't proven anything in the NFL, and their offensive line isn't all that great over there in Pittsburgh. So I think this Jet defense, they're going to want to get some licks on Rodgers. And like I said, if Sauce Gardner could limit DK Metcalf more times than not, it could be a good ball game for this defense. And like I said, it's a good matchup where this could be a 16-13 final, something along those lines. I could see it in a grinded-out game. And the final DST I like as a start is the Washington Commander, division rival New York Giants coming to town. This Commander team, they're just a streaming option for me in this one. I think the Giants' offense improved and their roll line improved. Obviously, Malik Neighbors, to me, he's already a top wide receiver in this league after a monster rookie season, over 100 catches. You got Russell Wilson at quarterback, who's definitely an upgrade over the guys who's in last year, and Daniel Jones, Tommy DeVito, Drew Lock in this Giant offense. And also as well, Dan Quinn, he's very familiar with this Giant team, being the defensive coordinator for many seasons with Dallas. And then last season, his first year in Washington, where it was a great success, making the NFC Championship. So with all those factors, and Russell Wilson not as mobile as he used to be, and good for a turnover too. I think the Commanders, they could go out there, have a good ball game, and this could be a grinded out division matchup as well. So like I said, the Commanders, they get to the quarterback. I know they're prone to giving up points, but this Giant offensive line isn't great, and this Commander team home opener out amped up. I think in this one, so that's defense DST units I would start for week 1 of the fantasy football season.